Great story today. Two people were added to a leadership team, and it was a different process than most people go through. It wasn't based on credentials and sort of personal qualifications as much as it was based on personal strengths, as it was aligned with sort of the company strengths of, as we redefine it, which is focusing on the experience of everybody in a performance culture. We've been developing the performance culture first, and it reminded me of an experience. The first time I saw someone who was in that loyalty trap. It's often a confused um, perspective about loyalty versus performance. And this was back in the day, early in my career. It was a loyalty-based culture where there weren't any performance reviews, and numbers were just sort of excuses as to whatever people were doing or what they had done before. And a person who wasn't really complying with the loyalty culture was suddenly laid off. And it was pretty obvious to everybody this wasn't about someone who wasn't performing, getting the job done. It was a person who just wasn't fitting within this sort of loyalty clique within the company. And it was a really great contrast today to what that was, and obviously two unrelated companies. But this conversation was so much more interesting because hearing people, um, owners who talk to me and say, I've only hired people I know, and I'm not really sure how to define this new role for other people, and I'm not really confident in what it would take to hire someone I don't know from the network, or a friend of a friend, or a friend of a family member. And this was a great example today of what is possible. Because when you stop kind of worrying about the loyalty of who I know or who's connected to me. But it really began in this situation by learning from people and giving them a scenario to talk about. Not necessarily what did you do well or what didn't you do well, like a critique, but tell me what it is that you care about, and something that describes the way you work with people. And both of these people demonstrated a real affinity and a genuine interest in the experience for everybody. So in addition to the great skills and perspective they've earned over the years, with the work they've done, it was this recognition of people and the experience, and a willingness to be a teacher, which is something people don't often forget. They often forget about. They don't often remember. It's the idea that when you're a manager, it's not about managing numbers. It's more about relating to people and helping people as a teacher with your perspective, and thinking and creating that environment in which they can learn from you as a teacher. So it's a really almost a selfless concern, as opposed to I'm going to reinforce my position and establish my strength and solidify the leadership position, as opposed to what this was today was a willingness to be a teacher and include people and help them to feel like they're a part of it and they belong, and share the performance expectations along with being a teacher to achieve those performance expectations. And it was really based on the scenarios they've shared over the past few months that represented the true wisdom of what it means to be a leader. Think about everybody else, create the environment so you remain strong and you help other people get stronger. And just a great lesson, and a different way of looking at hiring people to do a job that hasn't been done, and or hire people you've just never met before, but getting to know them through the scenario and recognizing how they recognize other people and are willing to be a teacher as much as they are bringing their great wisdom and perspective as solid professionals. One takeaway for you, look beyond the resume, give people the scenario, talk through it, and recognize their perspective as the fit for the environment and the culture you're trying to create, with that recognition of other people as well as their solid positioning. Talk to you soon.